I was when we first started discussing the fear, and I was trying to think of what I was afraid of right at this present moment, and I didn't come up with a lot, but what I came up with was the current situation, and one of them is a fear of the being too powerful, and having my actions create negative consequences for another person.
This is an excellent question, because this is the other part of the paradigm in the process of managing the energy of fear. And this is perfect. This is the perfect time to bring this up, because what have you learned? And what have most people learned? That when you start to come into your power, yes? When you start to become more confident, more unapologetic, when the clarity that you have achieved to this point has enabled you to consciously be able to manage your energies in the proper context, yes, in a way that serves your expansion, then what is the typical response from others in their observation of your expansion as your energies start to shift? They need you to take it down a level. They need you to kind of lower it into a comfort zone that more fits the construct of the paradigm of the vibration that their own thoughts have created. And so what then becomes the issue? The issue is exactly as you verbalized it. It is the discomfort with the level of that unlimited power. And having that acknowledgement of that unlimitedness express itself in you, how you act, the actions you take, the way of communication, then becomes also very powerful, does it not? But as you become more powerful, and Abraham has also talked about this as well, those that have not yet achieved that level of comfort with their own power, the power of all that is within them and expressing itself through your physical body, in your physical reality, they become uncomfortable, not because you're powerful, but because they do not perceive themselves as. And in order for them to be more comfortable, they require you in some way to not to be so much. Michelle's daughter has a very amusing phrase that often makes them laugh when this phrase comes into their interplay of their communications. And she says, "Mom, you're so extra. You're so OD. You're so, yes." And this amuses her, and there's much laughter when this is said, because she has the cognitive understanding that yes, I am. And yet, how terrible for you that I am your mother. And of course causes the daughter to laugh. But wanting to create a conversation where the daughter then understands it's first okay to have the conversation of her daughter picking up on energies that are different than her own, yes? And her daughter articulating that to say, you're so extra, you're so OD, you're so over the top. And of course, the mother understanding the psychological framework, like ducks that follow the mother ducks, the daughter, the same gender child is going to learn from the same gender parent the most, the way that the neuronal structure is configured in the brain. And so she laughingly says, and yes, and won't it be delicious when you're extra too? Now, what is important here is that the inflection is put on that being powerful and having that power resonate in your physical reality, in how you communicate, in how you operate in the world, in your body. She is communicating to the daughter, this is a fantastic thing to be. And wouldn't it be great if all women all people, indeed, because she has given birth to 2 males. All people, so she never wants to leave out the males, the boys, for she understands what wonderful, wonderful creatures they are as well in this world. Wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody could be like that? And by joking around about it in this way, she proposes the concept to the children that it is good, even though the children may be uncomfortable with the energy because they themselves have not achieved that level of power resonating within their framework. And so then the question becomes, what do you do when you are resonating the vibration of the coming into alignment with this power and someone else needs you to alter your behavior? Again, you are brought to a choice point. Yes? What to do, what to do, what to do, what to do. When you are resonating at your authentic place, and everybody stands in a different place vibrational, and that is actually okay. But what do you do with it? When you know you are, and you know it's okay, you know it's acceptable, you know this is a part of your moving energy to create your reality, and someone says, hey, that's not right. You're wrong. Because what have you learned in childhood? What did you learn in childhood when people say that to you, when people attempt to alter your spontaneous nature? As a child, you were powerless because the people who were trying to alter that natural, spontaneous nature were also the people that fed you. And so then comes the paradigm for the child, wanting to be spontaneous, wanting to be deliciously passionate in their expression of how they see their world. So not only is the person that is supposed to love you trying to make you bring that energy down, at the same time, you have to do it for them because you are dependent on them. And so this is where the psychological feelings of anger, sometimes with parents and family members, arise from, you see. And not very difficult to understand why that happens. But now you're an adult. Now you have stepped onto the path of expansion and evolution, you see. Now you understand you are no longer beholden to, you are no longer a slave to the diminishment of you that you were taught in your childhood. Now you know you have a choice. Now you know there is another version of you. There is a truth of you to get into alignment with, to believe in, yes? To trust all that is, your connection, the power of all that is. Now you know you have a choice. So then you come into this moment and you are demonstrating that fullness and someone tells you to stop because you're wrong. You have a choice point. A choice point has been created from the interaction. Will you choose to honor their comfort zone based on their vibration and what they need you to do to make them comfortable? Or will you be unapologetic? Will you be confident that you understand that this energy that you're resonating is necessary to your expansion, even if others do not understand that yet? And that is the choice point from which a decision must be made. And the more you make that decision, understanding that others are not going to respond. Indeed, as your vibration shifts, you see, and this is something that Michelle experienced in her own reality in the last 10 years, the shifting of her thoughts and her belief systems, the elimination of fear here and there and there and there and there caused a shift in her vibration, which was not appealing to people who wanted to maintain their vibration at a certain level. And so those who understand the science of energy understand the nature on how it can be repelling. It can also attract, but it can also repel. And so those who are not comfortable with her new vibrations as it changed, moved out of her experience. And those new people who were resonating in a similar place moved into her experience. Then comes your fear of attachment. How attached are you? How fearful are you of the idea of people moving out of your reality because of your shifting vibration? The answer to this question is going to determine the decision that you make from the choice point of whether to scale yourself down to make other people comfortable, or allow yourself to maintain your vibration and continue the climb, no matter who likes it, no matter who understands it, no matter who approves of it. Your answer to the question, how comfortable are you with the idea of people operating at different vibrational set points, wanting to move away from your experience? And that is a question only you can answer, because it is a common fear. It is more common than you understand. People are so determined to hold on to relationships at any and all cost that it actually shapeshifts their evolutionary path. Absolutely configures it into something that is trying to fit within the construct of another being, which it was never intended to do. Yes? And then comes the blockages. Why? First, you have to acknowledge, if this is a concern of yours, I'm afraid of losing people in my life. It's good that I've come to that awareness, because I know that I can't do anything about it energetically until I face it. I am afraid of losing people in my life. Why am I afraid? Part of me is afraid of being alone. Why am I afraid of that? Part of me is afraid of the unknown. Why am I afraid of that? Because I don't believe in myself. Because I don't believe in my connection and the safety and security and the love of that energy between me and all that is. I not only don't believe in myself, I don't have any faith at all in all that is. And that is okay to say, because that acknowledgement, it creates a pathway for your subconscious, your inner being, as it did with Kim earlier, to come in and bring clarity in that moment that you need to continue to shift. And this is the importance of facing those thoughts. And so then the question becomes for yourself later, after the session is over, because you brought up the question, what to do with people who do not approve of your climbing, powerful energy. What to do? Well, one could say, nothing. I don't have to do anything about that or about them. They have free will. They have inner beings of their own that can guide them as well. And they can choose whether or not to stay in your experience or not. Your experience is not diminished because somebody wants to leave it. It is only a reflection of the vibration, because everything is energy. Indeed, your experience is determined on your vibration. So if you want to have more adventurous, delicious experiences, then you must allow for the fact that some people don't want you to do that. They're afraid. They're afraid for you, you see. And you have a decision to accommodate that or not. And it can be accommodated lovingly, or it can be not accommodated lovingly. There is a loving way to go about anything, you see. There is a way to say, I am who I am, and I am in the process of becoming, and I think that's beautiful, and I understand that you don't. Period. In this way, there is no judgment of their position, of where they are standing, and there is no judgment of yours. But it does communicate that you are happy with your own, you see. So many people are not happy with themselves, and it shows. It shows in their body, it shows in their reality, in their relationships. I mean, you would think that with all the manifestations that it shows up as, that somebody might say at some point, hey, I might want to look at this. But they don't, because they do not face the initial fear. I am afraid of people leaving my experience. Why am I afraid of that? And then to follow that to a point when you understand you've arrived at a choice point, and then make the decision. Do you think that you need those exact people to stay in your experience for you to be happy or not? Because if you trust your connection to all that is, you understand that there is so much more out there. There is so much more that you have yet to experience, and be grateful for the experience that you had. But also, eagerly, as Abraham says, look forward to the new ones that you have never had as well. Choose you. Choose you first. And every time you do that, lovingly, your confidence will grow. The energy of that confidence will shift. Your inner being will be able to then bring in other thoughts of clarity that will help move you along. Indeed, that is actually the process that happened with Michelle, even for the first many years that she was shifting and was not consciously aware of what was happening or why. Only now is she able to look back and understand the process, you see. But that is the trust, that is the faith, following the impulses and the spontaneity of your inner being, even though it implies you move into the unknown, trusting yourself and all that is, that you would not move into a place that's dangerous. Because beings that can flex the power of the universe in their fingertips never have anything to be afraid of, if they believe that. Questions?
Appreciative for the contrast that's popping me into the next new version of me.
Love that contrast. This contrast came to serve you.
That's right.
It is for you, so that you could have the opportunity to face that fear, acknowledge it out loud. Yes? And allow your inner being to move in to support you. Allow the support of all that is to then help guide you and direct you. This is a team effort, you and all that is, yes? Allow it. Be grateful for the contrast. Yes, do not be afraid to deal with it. So many people move away from the contrast. The fear is intolerable to deal with the contrast on the level that the contrast is created. This is where the phrase, ignoring the elephant in the room, comes from, yes? So you and a couple of friends can understand that there is an elephant in the room, but the allergy from discussing the fear is so high, you won't even acknowledge that there's an elephant in the room. And everyone who loves you thinks that they're expressing their love by allowing you to do so. There's an elephant in the room. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Embrace your contrast. Look at it. Face it. Don't run from it. Because in the facing it, you give your inner being an opportunity to rise to the challenge and to assist you in the ways, all of the ways that you planned on it being so here. You intended to use this contrast this way, not run from it, not hide from it, but to look at it and face it and say, thank God for this contrast. Where would I be without it? I wouldn't grow without it. It's a very passionate response to contrast, but a very positive one, but only if you believe it. And this is how you can manage your fear, you see. By being glad that the contrast came. How wonderful! Temptation has arrived on my doorstep. Let me look at it. It makes me afraid. Ah, yes, that's right. Seth says to face it. Let me first face it and acknowledge it. I am afraid. I am afraid of this. It makes me contemplate parts of myself that I sometimes would rather not look at. The spontaneous nature of me that has been punished as a child. The passionate nature of me that has been rebuked. The adventurer's part of me that has had the hand smacked, you see. This situation makes me look at the parts of me that I have been trying to not acknowledge. Thank God for this contrast. Thank God. And say it with a smile And you will find the energy pulse, the rise of your inner being in that vibration of that thought. That is where you begin to first experience the taste and texture of freedom in your mouth, in your body. Knowing that most people around you shudder at the contrast, you see. Exhilarate in it. Questions?
She's shaking her head no.
Showing me water.
Well done, well done. Is there another question?
I don't believe we have anyone else
Very
asking
good.
a question.
I have to say that I have enjoyed this. I want to tell you all something that you may not think of, because you have this idea in your mind of what non-physical is. You have these preconceived notions of what infinite intelligence, what intelligence looks like here in human form on this planet. And I want to disabuse you of certain preconceptions. We have fun. We have a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun to us. This is the kind of fun where we laugh, we feel exhilaration, we feel the passion of the pushing, of your expansion. We love it. And here is the thing. Because where we are, we do not have the limitations imposed upon us in your human experience of limiting beliefs. That is our benefit of being in non-physical. We have a lot more fun than you do. And yet, you have come into the vehicles, these bodies, these biological constructs, where you can have more fun than us. And isn't that something to consider? That most of non-physical infinite intelligence has way more fun than you do. But you're the ones that are having this very seductive experience with your five senses in physical form, which enable you to have this more delicious, more fun than us. And if but you could just contemplate the question at your choice points, get to the choice points. Face your fear, acknowledge it's there, acknowledge that it's okay. Be glad for whatever vehicle brought it to you. Embrace it, understand its function, and then move to the next step and understand your choice point. What am I going to do with it? I have a choice. My old truth or my new truth. My old self or my new sassy self. My fun self. Yes? And make that choice. And when you do, I assure you, your inner being, all that is, are going to swoop in, because you are now creating a space where you allow that, and it is going to get really fun from there. Yes. And along the way, you will be growing. You will be expanding, becoming those versions of you that you are really trying to become here. And so we have enjoyed this. We have enjoyed this very, very, very much. And I'm hoping that you all enjoyed it as much as I did.